Popcorn for breakfast.
Good morning, Heather.
Morning, William.
What did we see this morning?
We saw Power Rangers.
Power Rangers!
Let's go! Go!
Yeah, as the internet can see, we are Power Ranger fans, but we are 90s Power Rangers fans.
We were talking about it on the walk over when we were done. We were like the prime target for Power Rangers when it came out. We were born in the late 80s, so when Power Rangers came out, we were the group. We were the
like 8
to 12-year-old range that fell in love, got suspended from school for playing Power Rangers at recess, fighting over who would be what color. Didn't matter.
No, we all fought over who would be Tommy. Let's make that straight.
It doesn't matter if you were a girl or a boy, you always wanted to be Tommy. But he is on William's watch.
Tommy fanboy.
Yeah. Steven just couldn't handle it.
He couldn't handle going to this movie.
He's a little older. So he was too old for Power Rangers when it was cool.
Yeah.
So what I mean, like, it's not the same thing. He doesn't feel the same way about it, which is fine. So this is kind of like the whole backstory of how the Power Rangers came to be.
It's a reboot.
Yeah, it's a reboot. And so you start out in ancient Earth.
Cenozoic era
of Earth. And you find out that Zordon is pretty much the reason why the dinosaurs go extinct.
He called a meteor.
He called a meteor strike. I don't know if he got like 10 kills in a row or something. And then that's how it happens. They didn't explain it. But so he calls in a meteor strike and everybody dies. But when he's dying, he sends out the coins and he's like, only find someone who's worthy.
None of us really know each other.
We're all screw-ups.
But somehow, we were all in the same place at the same time when Billy found those coins.
And I guess we didn't realize is that this movie is actually PG-13.
PG-13. We thought this was like Power Rangers, and we walked into this thinking PG.
Yeah, and so introduced to our Red Ranger, Jason, who is the leader. And there's like an automatic cow masturbation joke.
They say damn and shit a couple times.
Yeah, they do. So it was funny because I say that because we were like, kids movie. Like every time they were doing these weird things, we would look at each other like, kids movie, what the hell is this? But so you meet Jason, he's the football quarterback star who I guess was doing a prank that went wrong. So he gets in an accident, which makes him mess up his leg and he has to go to detention, which is where you get introduced to Billy. Now, I will say, the guy who played Billy, awesome. They did a really cool thing.
Oh, yeah. So, to interject there for a second, kids' movies are notorious for actors that barely make the cut because they're cheap. And it's a kids' movie, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But no, we actually really liked the actor. We didn't look up any names before this. We apologize, but the actor who played Billy Cranston, he's a good actor. I actually hope as he matures to see him in other stuff. He was good.
They removed the blatantly racist stereotype colors that were part of the originals. So Zack, who used to be the Black Ranger, who was black, is now Billy, who's the Blue Ranger. It's basically like the Breakfast Club, right? You get introduced to all the rest of the Rangers except for Trini.
You meet Kimberly, Billy, and Jason. Then when they go to the cave to help Billy,
that's right. Okay.
You meet Trini and Zack.
So anyways, you're introduced to Billy, who is autistic. And they mention it real quick. He's just like, I'm part of the spectrum. And so if you're aware of that, you understand what's happening. They go to the gold mine, and they
blow up a wall. All the characters get there because they hear the explosion.
Yeah, because you're also introduced to Zack, who is the Asian guy now.
And Trini, who is Hawaiian.
Yes.
Yes, because remember they blatantly show when she's doing hard metal yoga, which was kind of cool.
Which was cool.
Yeah, she's doing hard metal yoga and she puts her jacket down and they made sure to zoom in on the Aloha from Hawaii patch on her shoulder. They find the coins. They realize something's up. They go back. They find the ship and Alpha 5.
Who wasn't awful.
No.
I think for the previews, I was worried he was going to be like the Transformers robots that were super annoying and just dumb, but he was fine.
No, he was actually pretty subdued. He was more interactive than the original show's Alpha 5. The original show's Alpha 5 was like this nerdy, oh no, things are going wrong.
No, not that! Not teenagers!
That's correct, Alpha.
I was afraid of that.
The rest of the movie was just them training and then figuring out how to morph, and you have to be a team and understand each other and really care about each other to morph, which when you bring 5 teenagers who don't know each other into this situation,
That's hard.
They had a hard time with it. Rita was the main bad guy, and Goldar, which we all know and love.
We have Hot Rita.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks, Hot Rita. She starts out really gross and then gets power. And
She eats
stronger.
gold to fix herself.
Yeah.
Gold not only is her power, but it's also what heals her, which it worked. It
Which
worked.
is fine.
Elizabeth Banks, you could tell, was having so much fun playing Rita.
Honestly.
She
didn't give a
seemed
crap.
legitimately entertained by just being on screen. It was pretty cool.
You're the villain in this role.
I am.
Is this
I know.
your first full-on villain role?
It's my first. It's
no
my first
nuance.
kick butt. Only evil. I only want to hurt people. No regard for humanity. I play an alien.
And did that come easily to you?
That was fun. It was really fun to let everything go. Yeah.
And then, Bryan Cranston played Zordon.
Zordon's face.
Zordon's face, voice.
Well, no, Zordon for like 5 seconds.
In the beginning.
Yeah, he played Zordon
But-
for a second. Naked
But it was
Zordon.
mostly just his voice. They're assembling, the Power Rangers have to be assembled because Rita's coming back because she's gonna get Goldar to...
The life crystal.
To kill, or to grab the life crystal of Earth, which is the whole reason we're all alive, and if you pull it out, then everybody dies. So I guess that was one thing we were describing, or talking about, was there was no real drive for them all to become the Power Rangers, except
At
for the
first.
fact that they were saving all of the people.
Humanity, yeah. It was almost like they thought, they gotta have something.
Yeah. So they do all of this training. They never once get in a Zord.
No.
They do actually,
Zack does.
Zack gets in his
but he
weird
can't control
avatar
it.
Zord because it's not a mammoth anymore like
No,
it used to be. It's
a
some weird
six-legged. It's like a six-legged, almost like a
bear, buffalo.
bear buffalo thing. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not a mammoth.
It's
No
not
trunk.
it's not a mammoth.
This is better. Okay. Signals, brakes.
So we were saying it's a lot like Iron Man 1. There's a lot of
Build up
of the characters and all this stuff, and then there's just this really quick battle, and then it's over with. Because really, the battle between them and Rita and Goldar wasn't very long. It's like 10
minutes?
15 minutes. Same thing when Megazord comes together. Like, there's no...
Yeah, Megazord is
Real-
1/3 of that 15 minutes.
Yeah, and there's no real explanation as to how Megazord comes to be. Because remember in the show... They had to engage.
Let's form the Megazord! Yeah, they engage.
This one, they're dying. Spoiler. And it just comes up out of the ground.
This is your time.
When they first actually are all in their lineup of Zords, they actually play the Go-Go Power Rangers.
No, we have to do it. Go Power Rangers!
I don't
fucking
know
cool.
if I have to do that, but member berry.
It's a
And
wink.
so I've heard that term recently, and it's really funny because it's just that whole. Remember all these really cool things that we had as a kid? Remember how good all these movies were? And I think that's what studios are doing. They're running off of member berries because we are that generation now who should be having kids. So if we had kids, we would
We'd
be
take them to
taking
that
them to see Power Rangers. We'd be taking them to see these things that we loved as kids. And so I think that's what it did. They did some fan service or member berries for all of us who...
Yeah. Rita's... So Goldar is forming and Rita goes, "Grow, my monster, grow!" Which is what Rita would say every episode when she created a monster and sent it to Earth.
Yep.
They even did a kind of little wink near the end, spoiler alert, where Rita gets thrown to the moon.
Yep.
By being bitch slapped.
Yeah, which was actually, they did like the whole bring it back around full circle because that happened in the beginning when Jason was standing up for Billy. He slaps the bully.
Yeah, he doesn't punch him, he just slaps him.
Slap him?
And he goes, "Did you just slap me?" He's like, "Yeah, weird, right?"
And so they do that circles back. Setting up the whole town of wherever Grove.
Angels Grove.
It's
a sea
near a
town on
gold
the East
mine.
Coast.
Cool, because she needs a gold monster. If anywhere else, it wouldn't have worked.
I stare down at Angel Grove and wonder how such a small crap town could cause me such misery.
They win, and that's pretty much it. They go back to their normal lives. They're not allowed to talk about it. And they do, you know, a little bit after the credits, they do the whole Bueller moment, but with Tommy's name.
Tommy Oliver.
In detention.
And he's not there, and only his green jacket is there.
which is another good thing. I'm glad you said that. They did a really good job. If you remember the show, the kids always kind of wore the colors they were, and they did this in the movie as well, very subtly.
Mm-hmm. They had something that was their color.
Something their color. Not necessarily like always a red shirt, like sometimes Jason just had a white shirt with red writing.
Trini always just kind of had a yellow jacket.
Billy wore blue most of the time.
He had like a blue-touted shirt, blue
Kimberly
vest.
had that pink thing where she would just wear, it was like this
No,
weird
Kimberly had, no, it was part of an undershirt. Kimberly had a netted pink undershirt the whole fucking movie.
There was a few times she didn't, but...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so they did that too. They gave that little, just, here you go, remember the show. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole movie. It was, honestly... I went to this movie thinking it was going to be awful.
Awful. And we ended up being...
So awful. Because they've ruined Power Rangers already. You know, I only really watched the first maybe 3 seasons. I watched up until the movie, the first Mighty Morphin Power Ranger
when
movie.
They switched to Power Rangers Turbo.
And then that was a bit it. And now, like, I think I looked it up. There's like 24 seasons total, and there's 20 different iterations of these Power Rangers. I know it's still on, and they're obviously still making movies. But I just feel like it was already ruined, so I thought that this was going to be...
For the new audience.
So bad. Mm-hmm. And it actually wasn't awful.
No, there was a few moments where we like shook our head or we laughed because it was dumb, but they were young teen action moments usually, and that's okay.
Yeah. And in all reality, like the PG-13, like we said, they threw out some cuss words. There was some pretty...
Mainly shit.
Mainly shit. There was... some pretty good violence every now and then. Again, we're like,
little blood.
Movie,
People spit up some blood. What would you say this movie did?
Surprisingly, I'll say it popped. I'm not gonna say it buttered because I don't feel like I wasted my time, which is super surprising.
Yeah.
Like honestly, we even debated not seeing it because we're like, oh, do we really want to go
to the
and
theater.
just have to deal with this shit and the kids, which there were a lot of kids in the theater, again, because the parents weren't looking at the rating, and we were guilty of that too, because I was like, what's happening in this movie? But it was good. I mean, it was good to see it on the big screen. I think that helped a lot.
Oh, yeah, it helped. The spectacle.
It was funny to see, you know, like we said, Elizabeth Banks just
loving
completely playing Rita up and enjoying Krispy Kreme, which must have been a sponsor because I swear to God they said that like 50 times in the movie.
I actually didn't mind her moment in the Krispy Kreme though, because she
in
breaks in and it's completely quiet. There's no music, or there's a little song playing in the background. She doesn't know what donuts are, so she's like looking at him. She picks it up, and as soon as she starts biting it, Goldar's hand just comes through the roof because that's where they're digging for the crystal. But it was kind of... There was actually some good humor. There
were some actually funny parts where I genuinely laughed, and I was surprised. Like, we almost had to be like, that was actually kind of funny. Or, that was actually pretty cool. Like, seriously, especially, like, the Zords running and they played the song, like, I almost got goosebumps.
I completely agree. If you, like, you said it perfectly, there's not much for me to say. I mean, if you're in the age range, you got the kids that you feel are okay to see it, yeah, go see it. It popped. It had, some really funny humor interjected in there. It had some ridiculous moments, but it was not made specifically for us, so I'm okay with that. It had the cool Zords running, Go-Go Power Rangers, Grow Monster Grow. Again, Elizabeth Banks. And that's another thing people don't realize. When you see an actor, especially in this type of movie, who's just loving the crap out of playing their character, it makes the movie way better. Because the movie was super cheesy. Rita was really cheesy and over the top and ridiculous with it because that was part of the show. And Elizabeth Banks kind of, I think, maybe rewatched some Power Rangers, kind of got that feeling. And she did good.
Yeah, she did the over the top, witchy, like...
Yeah, I'm a witch! Yeah, it was good.
And that's what we remember, and that's what we liked about Power Rangers as a kid. And like you said, you kind of grow out of it, and so seeing some of it, like we were just saying, or you were just saying, it wasn't meant for us all the way, and so that's why we're annoyed sometimes at some of the things. But if you go back, if you step back to when you were a kid and you like, because I rewatched the other Power Rangers movie recently, I'm like, what the hell did we like about this crap? Like, honestly. Oh, and there is a cameo of Tommy and Kimberly, the original people, at the very end. They're like taking pictures of Megazord, which, you know, that original cast, They really didn't do anything after that. Kimberly's the only one who actually was kind of in stuff, and she looks the same.
Kimberly didn't age. Kimberly, whatever cream you're using, please send us some. Because I'm only 30, I'm losing my hair, and my knees don't work right, so I need some of that anti-aging stuff.
Yeah, but it was nice.
The guy who played Zack does tons of voice acting.
He does voice acting. Yes.
Tons of voice acting.
And the Red Ranger went into being gay porn.
Power Bottom Rangers.
You're waiting all day to say that.
I have. That's been bubbling in there.